Well, let's get going, and this particular hour of the show is taking us to the motivation time.
And inspirations whereby you do not need to go away right now because you need to listen, you need to hear about it, and also you need to react according to what it tells you. And additionally, what we're going to at least share with you. And this is not a one-way conversation. You can as well dive into what you think about it onto our social media platforms at Smart24 TV. Not forgetting that we are running and broadcasting live onto our social media platforms ranging from Facebook and YouTube. Go there, check out.
We've also got a new Facebook account page.
Yes, please. The
Facebook page. It's Smart24 TV official. Please do follow, and for more of the updates regarding business and more information from exclusive interviews that we have for you, but more so driving business as our main focus. And also, like Rita says, we are also on YouTube. Remember to hit the subscription there. And our Twitter is at Smart24 TV. Now, it is time for us to take a look at our business tip of the day. It is the 4th of April, and we are rolling into the month of April. This is the very first week of this month. So clearly, let's take a look at our business tip of the day. What tip can you have for your business as the week starts?
And the business tip here is highlighting embrace your expertise. If you are already innately good at something or have a skill set, embrace it. Don't try to be all things for the aspects of your business. Hire out or sign contracts with agencies for the things you can't do and focus on strength as quickly as often as possible. Don't be a junk of all trends and a master of none. I like it. Did it speak to your heart?
Embrace your expertise. No.
If you're already you're good at something or you have a skill in that, can you please embrace that? Do not try to be all things for the aspect of just your business. So do not just do things for the sake of doing them because you're seeing Joram holding a an iPhone. You want to hold an iPhone as well.
You don't even have money to buy an iTail.
To buy what?
An iTail. No, these iTail capacity. Very deadly phones. I hate them for one thing. If you have them,
They sound a lot. What do you mean?
I caught the Capesa for almost 2 years. No development whatsoever.
No. Do not. I disagree. Because
No.
I have Capesa.
No, not that brand. I was mentioning about a certain brand.
Do not. They can be our clients here. Do not. Joram, oyaga kunkola chiri this morning.
No, wait. I was asking myself what occurred me.
Anyways, we're speaking about embracing your expertise. Make sure you're not part of the bandwagon that happens. You're not part of the people Joram is highlighting that you might hold something for your entire life and you're realizing that, hey, why am I not even developing? I'm not moving from one step to another. What is happening to me? Do not be in that category. Do you know why even you're there? First of all, you're doing things that other people do.
Well,
of course, we all do things that other people do. I'm talking, you talk as well. But there are those things that shouldn't be your number one priority just because someone is doing them. Just because you're at a funeral and everybody's crying or some people are crying, you got no tears at all. And you feel like you want to cry as well. You're forcing yourself to cry. I don't know if that has happened to you.
So in most cases, by the way, like you've said, people actually go with bandwagons sometimes. Even when they feel it is, they actually, now let's say even in a business world, someone just starts up a business because they've seen Rita
Copy and paste
yes.
businesses.
And in most
boutique.
cases, these are some of the businesses that do not actually meet their very first birthday. Because reason being, you entered the business because you thought if Rita was successful at that business, then I will be successful at the business. Something which is not quite the same for others. Because Rita may do the business out of passion because she has the expertise, and of course she can manage that business. Then for you, you have the business that you can manage. But because you've seen Rita successful at the other business, you feel...
You don't even know where I'm getting my success.
Where you're
You're
getting
looking
success.
at that business, what if or whatsoever, everything I'm earning is not even from there.
exactly.
I've got
So,
something else that I
a
get
lot of
money
things,
from.
and also it also takes us back to specialization. When you look at most of the companies, they normally look at people who can actually do something better, regardless of how they will tell you we need a multi-purpose person, but there's always that segment, or there's always that part where your strength is, and you have to add more on the strength. Look at your strength. How can you actually be more stronger with that particular field? And so
In that
choosing your
regard,
expertise
I
is also...
send greetings to Chirimunda, wherever you're watching us from.
You
But-
always need to have you need to know where your strength is. And once you know where your strength is when you have to actually specialize and say, wadde byonna byonna mbimanyi oba mbisobola naye waneeno wenkwatawo teri asobola. So clearly, our business tip is actually telling you to actually have your expertise somewhere and be specialized in a certain field.
And for me, as I conclude on it, I want to tell you something in regard to what you are, because we are different. We might look alike. Just take an example of your brother, your sister. You're from the same womb, same mother, same dad. But hey, the way you speak, number one, is different. You don't walk the same catwalk or the same walk that everyone is doing. Neither are you going to have, hold blessings at the same time. Not are you going to go to, same meetings. So everyone has got their own ways of prosperity, but all that starts with you. So back to reflect on that tip there that is highlighting. Otherwise, if you focus on everything, you're going to lose it all. Can you give priorities to something you're good at, like Joram says, and then look at the other side of the coin a bit later on? But there is that one entity that you're good at. Always that should be your number one priority. If you got that, you're good to go even for others. But first, master the one you can.
Well, of course, now, if you're mastering what you can, let's have a motivation for you in regards to our business quote of the day. This one is just a motivator, something that can push you going, something that can inspire your day. Let's have a look at our business quote.
It's coming from Bill Gates, the co-founder of Microsoft, highlighting that your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning.
Oh.
Well, this one is good as well. It speaks directly when we always tell you that never count your first customer that comes to buy from you. If you have opened a shop, a supermarket, the first person that comes to buy from you, or the first person you have given a service to, never count that person. But then if they come back, that is when you know that, hey, you did something good. That is when you know that your cake that you baked for them was really delicious and was good. Someone recommended. If you've got recommendations, that's when you count that, hey, I got something good that I'm providing for the people. But if you see someone is just your neighbor, bought a cake from you and never said hello to you again, never recommended anyone, that means there are questions arising with what you're doing there. So that is why at some point you never have to count customers. But also, this is a great learning experience because the first customers provide a lot to our businesses. They give us feedback, number one, that's learning. They give us a mileage, they give us marketing, even skills. Someone might tell you something that even you didn't know. You might actually be doing cookies different way, but then you're providing them and two people just give you feedback. in case you want to change just a sort of a shape. That means you've got a learning from there, and another skills come from there. And I say that is development for your business, because it's never going to remain the same.
Well, and also when you look
But
at...
only if you're willing to even learn and, you know, take that lesson.
Yes, more so when it comes
Wenzo
to criticism. First and foremost is that when we're in business, we tend to actually accept only... Some people actually tend to feel humbled by good appreciations. Let's say good recommendation when someone comes and says, well, Sonko, your cookies or your chapatis are always good. They're always on point. Your service, your customer service is always good. But there's always going to be that customer
Those are
who's
friends.
going to actually...
And then
there's
our
always going to
friends
be,
tell us that mostly.
Then there's going to be that customer who is very critical and is going to tell you the fact. Now, how you perceive it depends on you, and then it is also going to play a very huge impact on the longevity of your business. Because when someone comes and criticizes the dark spot, that is where you're supposed to cover mainly. So if at all there is a hole that needs to be covered.
But at some point,
you need
majority
to
of the people, the challenge comes when, my friends that I'm baking for example, let's give those in cake business. And I'm giving you cake samples you're eating, and every time you're telling me, this is nice, this is delicious. You make me feel happy just for the sake of making me feel happy, because you're taking free things from me. Do you understand? When I'm providing a cut of my slice for you, you're always appreciating, this is good. You're doing a very great job. But then there is that person who buys now, who injects money, and you're talking about they hit on that dark spot and tell you know what, this is not what I expected. They are bitter. And then you feel like, that is when you feel like, what are these people
has someone ever
telling
criticized you of something and you went back home and you sat and you're like,
they were kidding or they were lying to me?
no, like it still haunts you back and you're like, I need to first cover up this.
Because that happens.
In most cases, when you're in service, if you look at the service business, it's just like a customer who comes and says, but Joram, you're rude. That is not the way to address me. And you're like, okay. Then you go back and you're like,
some point,
some customers just come and say,
no, sometimes it's false, I can say. Sometimes
or maybe when you have just
sometimes it's a mood of a lot
customer.
of things that are happening at that point, even from the customer angle. You might be depressed and you're then coming to me as a service provider. You're already having your own depressions.
And you throw it. But
and you just...
they say customer is always...
you're
right.
my boss, yes. At some point, people are different. And this is the reality in business. At some point, a businessman is going to go overboard, even when you're everywhere depressed and you're throwing it onto me, you're just coming to me. Some people do not know how to control it, and that's where we lose it at some point. So that is where the customer is going to say, you were rude at some point, but they started it. And the customer will never realize that this was their initial initiative. Like they started the whole war zone. That is why someone will, but you're not good. You're not appreciating. But there are also times when the service provider is just something else.
Your boss can actually tell you if a customer comes and slaps you, you keep quiet.
You turn to the other side.
That is the business code for today. Please make sure that you set your expertise right, and make sure that you as well specialize in something that you're good to go with. Now it is time for us to take a look at our SMB reports.
And we head into business recovery, how businesses are recovering. Taking a look at how women in business tips to utilize digital space. The digital space continues to prove a vital enhancement into businesses, and it comes in the era where digital migration continues to take over all sectors of the world. It's upon the grounds that women in business have been advised to adopt use of digital tools to push for business growth.
Program Manager at EASI, the Eastern African Sub-Region